all platform. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's start.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Csound the Metaverse. I'm Dr. Richard Boulanger, a professor of electronic production and design at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. And I'm here to introduce you to, first of all, introduce you to my amazing protege, colleague, collaborator, developer, Strongbear.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. Hello, Dr.B, and everyone on stream and on Zoom.
Well, we're excited to see you here today. We're excited for you to join us. We're sharing with you our newest app that we continue to develop and improve and add to with your feedback, and because you're kind of playing with us and sharing with us. We have a Discord channel. If you're interested in the app, getting a copy, watching previous videos, please join our Discord channel for CsoundMeta, and you'll find links there to how you can actually download the app and install it on your own Quest 2, Quest 3, Quest 3S, Quest Pro, and actually start jamming with us or your friends, or even just doing some solo improvising and performing in the metaverse using Csound. Csound is this incredibly powerful software synthesis language. It was developed at MIT. It's based on Max Matthews' original Music 1 through Music 5 language. The whole history of computer music is kind of it's in here. Csound is free. It's in the public domain. It's open source. So you can study every algorithm. There's something like 2,000 modules, opcodes they're called in the language, phase vocoders, waveguides, table lookup oscillators, wavetable synthesizers, samplers, granular module, all kinds of building blocks for designing custom instruments or effects. In our Csound the Metaverse app, well, I've built a bunch of instruments and effects. I've been doing Csound since 1979. And a lot of what you're hearing and getting to play with in this new app that Strongbear has written is some of even these classic instruments from the 70s, or classic instruments by John Chowning or myself, Jean-Claude Rizet, pioneers of computer music. Their pieces are brought to life and realized in our CsoundMeta app. Strongbear, do you have anything to say about the app, or just a little more to add based on my description there, or to jump off with that?
Yeah, awesome. So CsoundMeta is now still under like heavy development, and we plan to public it soon. So if you want to try it out, you could join our Discord channel. That's the only way you can find it. But later on, like you could find it on the Meta store. Like you need a Meta Quest headset. So it's either like Quest 2, Quest 3, Quest 3S, Quest Pro. Yep. So now, like for example, Quest 3S is pretty affordable, like $299. So I suggest you maybe buy that one, or if you want to invest in more like a better, higher quality image, then use a Quest 3, and then hop on the Discord, and we'll have you. And I hope to have you join us on a jam session, so you will feel it better. So because like looking at and listening to CsoundMeta through the live stream, it's good, but like it is best to actually experience it in inside the headset, so you can feel like
amazing when you're in the app. What CsoundMeta does, and you'll see in a minute, we have a bunch of immersive three-dimensional worlds. They were developed by with the help of a fantastic company, Blockade Labs, that allow us to use AI to generate these photorealistic Martian landscapes, moonscapes, underwater seascapes, skyscrapers, mountain views, castles, cobblestone streets from the 1700s. It's just amazing the worlds that we're able to kind of play in with the sound objects that we've created in Csound. You'll see some of that in a minute. And the important thing to tag off of what Strongbear just said is on our Discord channel, Strongbear does live streaming where he's actually teaching you coding and showing you some of the coding work he's doing in Unity and with Csound Unity. This is the Csound API, the entire Csound language sort of running within Unity as this giant free software synthesizer. And so you're going to want to join Strongbear sometimes when not only today we won't be coding, we'll actually be doing some sound design, we'll be doing some performing, but during the week, Strongbear does live coding sessions. He will help you with your own app. He'll help you learn to modify our code or to add your own instruments or compositions into our universe, into the Csound Meta universe. So this is a nice chance to, if you're interested in game audio, if you're interested in Unity, this is a nice chance for any of you to really learn from a master coder. And well, maybe learn a little about Csound from someone like me who's been doing it from the very beginning too. And so this is kind of how we've shared our expertise with all of you on our Discord channel and through the app. I have some more students who've just joined, which is wonderful, but we're not going to start jamming with our students yet, Emery. So Emery, don't join in yet. What we're going to do today is we're going to start just Strongbear and I are going to just do a little performance for those of you who are joining, just the two of us, because we're in a kind of duo setup. Those of you who are joining but not jamming with us originally, we have a wonderful feature of Csound in the Metaverse. If you take the two controllers and you just push down on both joysticks at the same time, you go into watcher mode. And so you can actually have joined us and watch what we're doing, but then you won't be kind of playing or contributing right now. I want to do a group jam with Emery, maybe Tyler, maybe Evelyn, maybe Bethany will be joining us today a little bit later in the session. But for now, I wanted Strongbear and I to just almost start from scratch and show you a little of how Csound Meta works, a little of how we would improvise. And then maybe I'm thinking Strongbear might tell you a little bit about the program and how you would fine tune it while you're playing it, maybe even how you would save patches, presets, etc. And then what we're going to do is with the whole group, whoever has joined us by then and has already got Csound Meta running on their quests, we're actually going to try to rehearse a little of my piece, Csound Dreams in the Metaverse. So I've got it working now with the latest version of the app. And so my hope is that we will be able to actually walk through the piece today together as a group. Does that sound like a good idea, Emery? Good. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to put on my headset. I'm going to start casting and sharing. So I've actually hooked up a cable to my headset so that I can do that. And I'm going to turn on my Zoom to share. So now you see I'm looking, and here are my controllers. And what you can see is I've got a cheat sheet in front of me. I've got these blue and white boxes beside each of my mallets, my sticks that let me hit the orbs. And these blue and white boxes sort of tell me, hey, what buttons I need to push. Well, I've been playing with Csound Meta quite a bit in the last few weeks, so I'm going to risk it. I'm going to open the menu, which I hope you can see in front of me. I'm going to go to Setup, and I'm going to tell it to turn off the shortcut keys. And so I'll close the menu. And so now we just see my mallets. You're also noticing that one mallet head is a little bigger than the other. Well, that's because when you're playing an orb and making sound, well, if your mallet's a little bigger, you can make more dramatic changes to the sound. Now, when I say make changes to the sound, let me bring up a sound, just for now. Here, it's this sound. It's in front of me now. It's called clicky. Now, this sound is silver because it's actually not going to make a sound yet. It's silent. But if I point my left laser beam at the object and I point my right laser beam and grab it with the grip, see this little trigger on the inside? We call that the grip. I'm going to grab it with the grip and open it up. Well, now you're hearing, I hope, this clicky sound. You're hearing it out of the left and out of the right. So I'm grabbing it and holding it with my grip on the side. I'm moving it around my head, and I'm triggering it by hitting it, by striking it with what is the big blue mallet, right? And right now, let me bring up another sound. How did I bring that up? Well, I look at my X, Y on the left control, and if I push them together, a new sound will come up. I don't hear it yet. Why? It's silver. But if I expand it, I hear that this is a generative instrument that makes chords with reverb. And again, if I grab, let's get it out of the way. I'm going to point at the instrument and grab it and use my joystick to pull it close to me, you see, or push it away from me so that I can play through it. Now, so you see we are in this beautiful place right here at my desk where I'm playing with these orbs, but I'll show you one more thing, and let's make that chord a little softer. By the way, the size of the object determines how loud it is. I'll stop the chord and just have it call up another sound called red. I'll turn off the clicking instrument. By the way, how am I deleting these instruments? I'm pointing at them with my laser beam, and I'm pushing down on the joystick, boom, and that sends it away. So again, I'm going to push X and Y, bring up an orb. This is called teal. Right? I made it louder to listen to it, right? And I'm going to bring it to me by grabbing it with the grip and pointing my laser and using my joystick to pull it to me, and then I can hit it or switch around or play with it or move it. Okay. Now, the other thing that I'm doing is, let's get rid of that. It's a little noisy. Well, it would be nice if I was in a different world. So what I'm going to do is notice that on the left controller, you have a hamburger menu there with these 3 lines, right? It's indented on the left controller. And when I push that in, my menu comes up. And so in my menu, I have instruments, worlds, movements, compositions, multiplayer mode, all kinds of settings. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just say, I want a world. And I don't want it to be in pass-through. In fact, I'd like the world to change every maybe 60 seconds. So I'm going to select this. Up comes a dialog box, and I say I want it to be maybe 63 seconds. And I'm going to submit that. So now the worlds are going to change every 63 seconds, but I'm going to get out of pass-through mode and go into one of these beautiful AI-generated worlds. So let's start in Paris, in this market. I hope you can see it. Let's bring up an orb. This low breath. Right? Let me bring up another. This riser with red. Let me strike it so I can hear it. Right? Let's put them together on top of each other and play both at the same time. I'm layering sounds by layering objects. Let's have this rain sort of sound. You hear it? Kind of raindrops on the roof. Let's put that in the layer. Right? Let's delete them. 1, 2, 3. You remember how to delete. Oh, wait, I'm overlooking a nice kind of shoreline here, a nice harbor, some night lights, sky above me, galaxy overhead, some suburban sprawl. So the point is, all of these worlds are created with Blockade Labs' beautiful AI skybox generator, and we can kind of play in them. And right now, I don't know if you're here, Strong Bear. Are you able to join me? And we could start up from scratch. I'll stand up, and we could actually do a little bit of jam.
Of course. So,
Explain what you're doing.
do we plan to have other people on Zoom to join us and become a watcher?
Yeah, they could become watchers, and or they can just watch the live stream for now if you want. What do you think? You tell me. Whatever.
Yep. For the best audio quality and also like the experience, if you have the headset and have the CsoundMeta setup, then you could join Dr.B. That's the best. Otherwise, like I recommend you go to the live stream if you are on Zoom, because like on Zoom right now, what you're hearing is only from what you're hearing and seeing is the Dr.B screen, but on the live stream, you will have more view because I'm set up several scenes in here, which means I could share both Dr.B sound and screen and my sound and screen as well. So that's a plan. And yep, if you want to join in the headset, then open CsoundMeta. Make sure the version is 9.8.0 and have 0-tier turn on. And also in the client, the IP address for today is 172.22.2.3.
I got a little too close to my desk.
I joined Dr.B and
oh wait, there you are.
Yeah.
I see your controls. Oh, I see you. Now that's the thing. I want to see this. Do you notice there's like a shadow in my room because I'm actually quite close to Strong Bear? But wait, Strong Bear is in Ohio, and I'm an hour and a half outside of Boston at Boulanger Labs in my studio, right? And so we're playing together. In fact, one of the most exciting things about CsoundMeta is I could hand this sound, this red sound, to Strong Bear, and Strong Bear can play it.
Thank you. I got it.
Yeah.
Red.
And we can play the same sounds together. Here's black bells with some noise. I'm handing those to Strong Bear, and Strong Bear's playing them. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Right? And so what we and now you're seeing the backgrounds keep changing every 63 seconds to a different scene, a different location, a forest path with this beautiful stream. Okay, so what I'm thinking, Strong Bear, is I might pick a movement. All of you can see that I'm doing that, and I'm sort of scrolling through all my different movements, and I have something here called let's see, CS Black Drone. Doesn't sound like a drone to me. So okay. Now this is a little busy. Here we go. We'll fade those guys out. And we'll go to Csound Nothing. Okay. And now, I think what Strong Bear and I will do is we'll start. I guess we're on Mars now, or some other planet. Strong Bear, let me get rid of this menu, and let's just bring up a couple of sounds each and start playing with them and listening to each other and sharing some sounds and getting some inspiration from the soundscape that we create. Sound good?
Yeah.
might just fade us a bit now. Strongbear, what do you think? We could get lost in this thing, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
We could play for a long time. But I just now, one of our commands allows the host, who is me, to kind of fade everyone. Let's go back to pass through. So, here I am. Now I know where I'm standing. Okay. So, it would be nice if, I hope that you enjoyed the craziness we were discovering and trying to control and trying to shape in musical ways. We were soundscaping, and but we were doing this randomly. Now, the fact of the matter is, and I think I'm still sharing with you all. So, what I want to show you is that Strongbear has a setup here where basically you can create movements and save, settings of your instruments that you've picked, and it would then bring up, compatible families of sound that you kind of love. And you're also seeing, see this little blue trail of a thing that's connected to an object? You're seeing patch chords. And when these connect, I'm going to let Strongbear explain all these details, but this patch cord allows me to kind of attach gestures to each object, assign controls, assign all kinds of movement to the sounds that the object is producing. Each of these are called an orb, and the sounds that they're making is a full software synthesizer with LFOs and envelopes and filters and oscillators and sample players. And so it's a really complicated synthesizer, which Strongbear has built a system that allows you to edit and assign that. He's going to show you that in a second. But my point is that, sure, we were picking random things, and you remember, pick a random instrument by just pushing the X and Y button on the left controller at the same time. Boom. A random instrument appears. Demolition. Boom. Right? And another random instrument. Crackly gurgle. Right? Oh, and you're not hearing it because I told everyone to kind of mute. Let me make everybody louder again. And so, now they would kind of gurgle and play. But what's exciting is when I choose the menu, let's get these guys out of the way. Okay, everybody. See you all later. When I bring up the menu, I could also say I'd like a movement, and this could be a collection of instruments that I've saved. And you'll see later in the session today, we're actually going to play a little of a piece that I've composed. And, that movement, I'll just bring this one up here. So this is a movement with kind of grooving and rhythmic things and some counter timbres. So, where are you? Here it is. Boom. So, I'm bringing up a groove there or something. And so Strongbear has allowed me to kind of start to shape these sound collections and really tell, stories with the sounds themselves. And we'll show you a little more of that later. But what I think would be nice now is if Strongbear taught you all a little bit about some of the ways that our system works, and then we'll get into composing. To summarize, what we were just doing was improvising by bringing up random objects from our collection of hundreds of Csound instruments that I've been developing over many years, and also then complementing those with kind of classic Csound compositions and bits. to kind of develop a counterpoint. And we were doing that all just on the fly and passing objects back and forth to each other. You probably also noticed that some of the objects kind of were able to fly around. So if I bring an object up like this groovy snare thing, and I hope you can hear it, right? Right? So it's a little kind of synthetic snare drum playing some kind of chugging kind of rhythm. Okay. Now, I could point my laser at this object, push the Y button, and turn it into what we call a wanderer. And so now you see that the object is kind of broken up. You can see through it. And now this object can just fly around the house, right? And it will spatialize accordingly and bounce off walls and surfaces. And there it goes. And get softer and louder depending on how close it is to the player, right? And so, and if we hold both the X and the A button, it makes our wanderers all come home. So the wanderer just showed up again. It's right very close to me. Where is it? Here it is. It's right under me. Here, I'll get it. And of course, I can point my laser at it, push down the right joystick, and just delete it, right? So we have orbs, we have wanderers, we have movements, we have palettes. I'm going to let Strongbear show you a little bit of each of these now and give you a little bit of a system demo. And then after that, we'll invite all of my students who are here and colleagues and friends who've started to set up the CsoundMeta on their quest to kind of jam with us and start to actually work on my piece, Csound Dreams in the Metaverse. Strongbear, why don't you show them a little about the system? Should I stop sharing?
So what happened was I grabbed the wrong controller because I have two MetaQuest Pro headsets. It looks the same. So my left controller wasn't working all the time, so I was playing with just the right hand. I didn't know why. I restarted the left controller, restarted the whole headset, nothing working. So then I realized I used the wrong controller because they're just looking just the same.
Well, yeah. I wondered. I didn't wonder what was going on exactly, but I was hoping for a little more counterpoint. And, but I will tell you this, and I will admit to everyone out there in CsoundMeta land, that there's many times where I grab the controls from another headset and I'm thinking, oh, the batteries are dead or it's broken. We do have the luxury of each having a few extra headsets because we're testing with all the different platforms, but it does sometimes get confusing, especially when you're wearing the headset, because you're just grabbing the nearest control. And well, the cool thing about CsoundMeta is you can use your hands as controllers too, and so that's pretty cool too. And you really you're going to miss some of those buttons, but you can use your hands to play some objects too. So more on that later. But Strongbear, what do you think? Would you like to give them a little bit of a tour and tell about how you would create or modify an object or save a sound? Or
yeah, of course. So in order to do that, like I need to join you again as a client, and for now it's blocking me from joining you. So I need you to stop host and then start becoming a host again, and then I can join you as a client.
Okay, so you want me to quit and start again as host? Yep.
Right. Yep.
Okay, my zero tier network is on. I'm launching CsoundMeta. It says made with Unity.
Yep.
And now I'm choosing host, server, and client. It's like our first meta screen. It's blue buttons and white lettering, and I'm going to become the host.
Okay, so I'm
host now.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen, and if you are on Zoom, please go to the live streams in order to watch it like clear and listen to the sound. I'm gonna join Dr.B as this IP address. Connecting. Yep, I'm connected to Dr.B. And yeah,
I see your controls in my room.
right. Where's Dr.B? Oh, up here. I just could see you up there, right? So I'm behind you.
Yep, I can turn around. Okay, there you are.
Hello.
Hello. So you're a kind of mustard color, and I'm a kind of rust-colored stick.
Right. So what we show people from here is that like modifying a sound and save the preset.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So there you go.
So in order to modifying a sound, so let's say something. Let me create a bunch of stuff here and see anything. First, the imputer. It's not playing any sound. Let me turn on the. Make sure I'm not muted. Play again. Do you hear any sound?
No, I don't.
Fire.
There you go. That one's working. Pewter seems quiet right now. Let's delete pewter. Boom, gone. There
Okay, F-looper is working.
Groove sounds good.
Okay.
Yep.
Here we have this instrument called F-looper 3. The preset is pin groove 1. Let me put us into a world so we can see the object clearer. So in order to modify the sound of this one, I mean modify the preset of it, we point it at it and then we hold X until it shows several tools up here. So we have the select sound tools and sound palette, sound settings, clone, toggle the audio, reactive, delete, and the output of the audio to like another effects processing. Here we can select sound. The sound we are doing is like F-looper 3, and then here's the presets. There we go. The selected preset is pin grooves. If we want to modify that, we need to open the sound settings from here. So there we go. Sound settings. Oops. Oh yeah, Dr.B grabbed it from me. Yeah.
I was just testing. We've never tried this strongbear, but
so maybe
seeing if we could both open a different panel on the same sound. But maybe not.
Let me put it over there so Dr.B could also see it.
I can see it now too. I can read just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into watcher mode, I think, if I can. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
There I go.
So,
nice.
Yeah, so Dr.B has turned into a watcher mode, and you won't be able to see his controller, his mallet, but we can see his cutter shadow in here, the white shadow. He's here. So so from here, let me trigger it, make the sound, and then we can change their settings from here. Let's say we change the pitch. Or maybe the panning. Oh, what else should I choose? Like borders.
So this effect, this is a sample player. It's an F-looper, so it's doing sample playback. This instrument, and you have choices of adding string resonators and a bunch of different effects to the sample that you've selected.
Yeah.
This is a string resonator.
So look like pitch and string resonator are pretty prominent. Mod.
The resonant frequency, yeah.
So I'm looking for something that's pretty prominent. We could map the
top. These are all effects down here, so you really want to pick, the pitch range, and maybe even change the sample.
So let's
take a look at the sound.
Right. So let's keep using pins, but I found like pitch and the string resonant are the two pretty prominent ones. So I'm gonna map those into my left and hand controllers. So So for example, I'm gonna map the left hand movement up and down to the pitch. So that way I can use my left hand to control it. And on the right hand, I'm gonna map my strings resonator to the right hand.
Mod probably would be better. It will change the pitch of the string resonator.
Okay, so stress mod
Try that.
to
String resonator.
maybe like right hand to the right, right hand up and down as well.
There you go.
And now I can use my two hands, move it up and down to control these two parameters.
And it seems to me the pitch range isn't really good up high. What's that yellow controller for?
So the yellow and the red are for like limiting the range of the movement. So I don't want it to be like too dramatic. I can kind of clamp it to these two. So when I move all the way up, it doesn't yet pass through the yellow, and it also doesn't get lower than the red one.
Yep.
It's kind of,
I would, if it were me right now, I'd move the yellow a little more to the left, and I'd move the orange all the way back to the left so it gets really low. I kind of like it. There you go. That's good down there.
yeah.
And I put the, yeah, there you go. Nice.
So here's the range, right?
Yeah, better.
And like, for example, here we could map the buttons to something else. So for trigger, now we have the button A to trigger it, but we don't have anything to stop it. So let's say B is to stop it. Then we hit A to trigger, so it start playing, and then we hit B, and suddenly it stop. So A again to play and B to stop. So, and for each of the buttons, like you can map to all of these. So you have a list of I don't know, like 10 or more.
Changing it. Pick a controller to select the previous sound. Try that. So we have a library of samples that this instrument plays.
Exactly. So we have like samples in here with pins, brams, paratin metals, all of those out. Let's see if we could map something to like change the sample. So I'm gonna map it to, let's say, button Y on the left. So I'm gonna hit A to play and Y to change the sound. So as you can see, it was pinned, now it's rolling. Let's do one more Y.
Yeah.
And rumble.
Look at that. Now, what I would recommend, if you don't mind me interrupting a little, now, because you're calling different samples, having controls assigned to loop start and loop end could be very nice. Maybe move your hands out to the left and right or whatever for loop start and loop end, and then you'll get the sample to create different rhythms and polyrhythms depending on what sample you pick.
Ooh, so I'm gonna have my right hand to move it to just like rotate it, I think. Rotate left and right on the right hand. Let's try that.
Good.
Yeah, rotate it.
Yeah.
And then start.
Nice. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And what about loop end?
Loop end. I'm gonna, let's say, map it to my my right hand moving backward and forward, just like that. So backward, forward, and then rotate for the start, and then up and down for the strings resonate, like down here. So we're just the right hand. We're mapping like 3 type of movement. And let's try that out.
Nice. Now, you've done a lot of work on this. What if you want to save this so you don't lose all this work?
Yeah, of course. So I'm gonna hit save as.
There it is, down there, save as.
Yep. And well, I don't see my keyboard. Could you save it for me?
Okay, let me turn my controllers back on. Let me say save as. Huh, where's my keyboard?
Yeah, I don't see my keyboard either. So.
It should be here. Come on, we did so much work on this.
So
I've been saving all morning. Oh my God.
So maybe it's a bug that I need to fix.
Well,
unfortunately.
If I close that, will it close the whole thing?
No,
No. Okay.
it's still there.
Yeah, I see. I don't see the save dialog. Darn.
we should see the keyboard to type it in.
Well, now what version is this? 980?
980.
981 will support save as of Looper 3 factory presets.
Yeah.
Why don't you play a little more with it then, and even change some of the samples instead of playing?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, doesn't. And even though it's flying around, I have my patch ports connected to the object, so I can still control it. Doesn't matter where it goes. Yeah, thank you. And then let's see, another one I want to do is like to map the button X to go back through the list of samples. So
well, I think we've given them a little bit of an idea of how every single sound in our huge collection can be customized, and they really can be saved. It could be because maybe you're not host or something right now. I'm wondering if I just bring up an instrument just for a second, like this sine cloud, and I hit my Y button my X button to make the little palette of objects appear. And like you taught us, I'll select sound settings, and I'll just change kind of the rate of this, and see if I can save as mine. Yeah, no, I think save as is broken this week. It's not letting me do that. But I just saved all my compositions and all the movements, so I'm a little surprised. Right? Yeah. Okay. Well, this is what we're at least showing you all of the editing capabilities, all of the sound customization capabilities. And then what we haven't shown you is this. But if you look at the palette here, I brought up the menu and I just selected instruments. And the bottom line is you have, in our org collection, you have, a library of 25 with a number of presets in each one. Here's all of these bell tree variants and things like that, some factory and some that I personally created. And so these are sort of some of the sounds. And then, of course, we have the whole kind of classic collection, too. And that collection is all of these generative compositions and pieces by Stockhausen and John Chowning and Ian McCurdy and all of the kind of historic C sounders, Stephen Yee, Dave Seidel, Michael Goggins, Victor Lazzarini, some by my students. Aman has done a lot of generative work. He's doing his PhD now at, and let me bring that instrument here. He's doing his PhD at Maynooth. And here's his kind of generative drum kit. Oh, there it is. So you've got all these compositions to choose from as well, that you can then modify, trigger, and that you also, in that same library, we have effects. And so I could bring up this shimmer reverb effect. Hello. And now I could connect this drum kit into the reverb. And maybe we want that reverb to, let's switch that out. Let's have it go into a ring modulator.
Nice.
Right, you see what we've done is we've just sort of said, let's take this drum groove that's being algorithmically generated. It's another C-sound instrument. Aman Jagwani is amazing. By the way, he is a phenomenal jazz drummer. So he does make good drum grooving, smart instruments too. And but you could also chain these effects as well. So I could choose a new effect and kind of chain them together. So let's grab another effect, a kind of looper. Hello, hello, looper. Hello, hello. Ooh, 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 ooh. And let's take the output of pin into the looper. Strongbear, you could trigger your pins instrument again.
Yeah.
And now it's going into this looper instrument. A key combo that turns everyone off. And what we'll do now is I'd like to pass through. We might take a minute. And so you see a little bit of the kind of customization that's possible, all of you who are tuned in and watching. it might be nice if right now we take a minute and answer any questions or, see what some of you have in mind. And then we'll see if some of my students have stuck around and that they might like to join and jam with us in the meta, and work on the piece a little bit too. So, what I'm wondering is if there are any questions or suggestions or thoughts.
Yep. Let me check all the chats in here and see anyone. Yeah. So Easy Trend say, I wish to do the same for Apple Vision Pro. Yeah. Yeah. Apple Vision Pro is like super expensive. Like one Apple Vision Pro, you could buy like 10 Meta Quest 3S. Yeah, I used to have one, but I returned because it doesn't have a controller, so it's what it can do is like only using your eyes and then looking at something and use your like kind of two fingers to kind of tap and select, and so I feel it's kind of limited in terms of like multitasking. And when we play music, like often we do like almost everything of like of our body trying to make the music, so it doesn't work well, even though it's pretty like high quality of in terms of image. Yeah. So yeah, what we do now is like just working on the MetaQuest because it's I think it's a like a best product right now in terms of like I mean the quality and the price, the cost.
The 3S is wonderful. I have one here too. Strongbear has one. I do like the threes better, and they're quite a bit more money, right? However, I've just discovered there are people selling threes on eBay, and the price of their threes that people are selling used on eBay are almost the same price as a new 3S. So the thing about the 3 is the screen image is better. They're easier to wear glasses at the same time as playing. When you're doing pass-through mode with a 3, you can see your screen, your watch, your iPhone. You can read it very clearly. And so if I were you, I might think about looking on eBay and seeing if there's a 3, or getting a 3S. They're on sale now. I think there's even a little bit of a discount. Both of them are quite amazing, but I love the 3. And so I started with 2s, and we started developing this for the Quest 2s. The 2, our program runs in a 2, and when you're in an immersive space like we are, it's perfect. It's beautiful. However, when you're in pass-through mode on a 2, you can't really read a screen very well, and the pass-through is kind of black and white. And so it's really not as comfortable if you're going to keep working and wearing and developing and practicing, collaborating. So I love the pass-through on the 3 and the 3S. 3S has color pass-through. It's quite great, but the 3 is even clearer and better. So if ever you've said, now I can't guarantee this, because now if you do play the darn roller coaster games in any of these, you're probably going to get sick, and you're probably going to get motion sickness. And also, if you're afraid of heights, well, it's going to take a second, because I had students play with me, and when you're up on top of a mountain or you're on a building and you look down, it's very realistic. And it really can be quite frightening when you're wandering around, flying in, you're in the clouds or whatever. So that takes a little while to get used to. But I do feel that a lot of people say, oh, I get real motion sickness in my Quest. Well, yeah, if you're on one of these roller coaster rides that's simulating spinning around, it's tough to hold on to your lunch. But, and so you do get, that is a very common phenomenon. However, I find that with the 3, because the screen is so good, because the pass-through is so good, I don't find I'm ever getting any kind of headaches or dizziness or anything like that with a 3. and 3S is pretty close because again, the pass through is quite nice, and they even have a kind of image stabilization setting too. So that helps a lot too. What are some of your thoughts, Strong Bear, about your experience with wearing or coding or motion sickness?
Yeah. Also, because the lens technology on the Quest 2 and Quest 3S are the same, so it's the older technology. So the image is not so clear when you look around, or and you have to adjust the IPD, your like the distance between the lenses manually. So like when you look further, your eyes IPD is like is increases. When you look closer, it's smaller. So that's why on the Quest 2 and Quest 3S, the image are sometimes like blurry and make you feel dizzy. But like on the Quest Pro and Quest 3, they use a new technology, and it's much sharper. It's clearer.
That might explain why I like them best.
Right. So for development now, I still prefer the Quest Pro, even though it's discontinued. But like, because wearing the Quest Pro, you could wear like for a long time, and it distributes the weight pretty evenly on your head. It's not like front heavy as the other Quest. So it's more comfortable to wear it for a long time. I could wear it like for a couple hours of like programming session. So I typically do programming while I wear the headset. So inside the headset, I could see like a huge screen. It's like 120 inches of screen, so a lot more space to work with.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you actually program in the headset.
Yeah, in the headset.
Yeah. Well, I want to just show everyone. You might notice that that we have these funny head straps on our things. And I remember when I first saw my students wearing these headsets, and they kind of looked like Lego characters from the Lego movie with these blocks on their head. And I'm saying, "What are you guys wearing?" And but they really do make a difference in terms of making the load lighter. They are easier to slip on and off. Just pop it on and crank it in. So you are going to discover that getting an alternate head strap can make a difference in terms of comfort and longer use and all of that. And Strongbear was just showing me that he had gotten one that even you can attach a power bank to the back of it, one of these magnetic power banks.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah, so you can just keep charging it up all the time. And it doesn't run out of power. So
yeah, so it's not like magnetic.
One of those right after we finish today's session, so that when I'm casting or talking, as you notice, I like to do, I won't run out of juice. It's happened a few times. Now I see that Emery is ready to join us a little bit hopefully we're going to rehearse the piece, and so that will be nice. Emery will get you cued in, and maybe Evelyn is still here. I hope so. And Evelyn will join in the piece rehearsal too, and maybe Bethany will be joining us too. I'm not sure. But are there any other questions or things that either Strongbear you'd like to bring up, or people would, or you would like to answer or address?
Yeah. I don't see any other question on the chat right now, but like. Yeah, feel free to ask if you have any questions.
And know that our channel, our Discord channel, CsoundMeta Discord channel, that's a great place to put suggestions and questions, advice as you're starting to play with the app, or you can't get the app set up. We're here to help you. We're really looking forward to more and more people using it, playing with it, and starting to give us suggestions that help us make it even more intuitive and more fun for everyone. So we're happy for you to join the Discord and share your views there too. Some of you aren't able to watch when we're doing this live, but all of our live streams are saved. They're all shared on the Discord server, so you could go back and watch others or jump around and cut to the chase. Maybe you don't want to hear about straps and whether you like a Quest Pro or how to not get dizzy right now. So you just jump ahead and or jump back, or maybe the piece is boring you. Sometimes improvisations are more fun to play than to listen to, and so jump ahead. And so our live streams are all there waiting for you to enjoy.
Yeah. This is an update. So this week we have fixed an issue. So basically we gotta rename our app and to Meta. It's it's a completely new app. So there's a bunch of setting that I need to do, and there's one place that I forgot to change the app ID of it. So the co-location wasn't working, and all the items, I mean, like movement compositions, was saved under unknown. So those are fixed. Now you could create a movement and composition and save under your Meta username. And co-location is working well. So co-location is like
explain co-location, because some people, if you're here, you probably have a Quest, but maybe some of you don't. And so explain both co-location and what we were doing remotely with Zero Tier as well. Strongbear.
So co-location is the ability for people to play in the same physical environment and see, like in mixed reality, so see the real world and see the objects in virtual, but like appear in your physical space at the same time. So I could share my screen right here. This is co-location. So me and my younger brother, we were playing in the park, and we are seeing the same object, which is a brown object right here. So I could hand it over to him, hand it back to me, and actually these was captured by a third person, like wearing the headset, looking at us playing and recording. So that's co-location.
And then it seems similar to what we were doing, although you're in Ohio and I'm here outside of Boston. Emory is in Boston. So how is it that we're able to all join in a combined, a same virtual space? Now, what I noticed, and I want everyone to know, when you're watching me cast, I see you in my studio, your hands, but you don't see my studio.
No.
When I go to pass-through mode, you see me in your home, but you don't see you in my home.
Right.
However, when I choose a world like underwater or a castle, or a forest, we both see the same forest.
Right.
Now tell us how that's all possible and what we're doing there to make that possible. It has to do with Zero Tier, so maybe explain that.
Yeah, so we have like two different way of playing in a multiplayer. The first one is like co-location, that as I explained. So we are in the same room. I mean, in the same physical space. That's co-location. And the other is like playing like remotely. So in remotely, when we do like we use a virtual world, then we both see the same virtual world because it's rendered in our headset. However, when we turn on pass through, then we see our own physical space. So you see your own physical space, I'm seeing my own physical space, and you appear like a hologram. Yeah. Right, and
we do have a version. We'll probably bring it back as we have more time to work on that. But we had a version where we appeared in each other's space as avatars, and so that was kind of fun.
Right.
So
we had that version, but we didn't release that because we still have some trouble of like syncing the movements. Yeah, but that would be fun. Like the advantage of showing only like your the shadow, and then the controllers, like we could see things like see the objects like better because we see pass through other bodies. So
right.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Very nice. So now you understand, I think, a little bit of what's possible, and I think it might be fun if we maybe Emery's here. We'll practice the piece, and so if that's okay, if that sounds like a good idea, I'll go back to sharing. I'll throw on my Quest 3. Notice it has a headset which I can adjust to take the pressure off, or to look a little more fashionable, I'll put the top piece in the back right now so I look a little cooler. But I either have a crooked head or I'm not sure. Forgive me, but my headset's never on straight. Now, let me make sure. I'm going to go to share. And I'm going to make sure I share just the casting screen. Boom. Share that. So now you've got me sharing again. I'm going to close the worlds that I pick. I'm going to close the menu. Here are my controls. And I'm going to hopefully, let me make sure my VPN zero tier is on. It is. So this would allow Emery to join, but Emery might not know the right IP address, Strongbear.
Yep.
So, because last week Emery was joining me as Csound Dr.B, and this week Emery is joining Csounder.
Cool. So
can y'all hear me?
yeah.
So explain to Emery what the new IP address is.
So here's the new IP address, as you can see on my screen, like 172.22.2.3.
Okay, cool. I'm curious if y'all have given any thought to that live input thing, because I don't know if I was gonna play trumpet, it might make sense for me to just stay in mine and send my audio over Zoom or something, but I'm totally down to not share the
Well, I
trumpet.
won't want you playing trumpet right now while we rehearse this, but we might try that after we finish a little rehearsal. How's that sound?
Okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's great. Let me exit my like world and I'll do the right IP.
Yeah, join us for now. I'm going to get this chair out of the way because I'm going to stand up and play. Someone has joined me.
It's me in kind of pink light.
Okay, who is green?
Probably Emery.
Yeah.
Good, I see you. And pink is Strongbear.
Yes.
And I'm extending myself out into my studio a little bit so that we have a little space to not bump into each other. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go here to compositions, and I'm going to select this composition, Vienna B-Tot 1A. So this is a rehearsal version of a stored composition. Now the composition has 3 movements. The first movement was sort of in the forest. The second movement we're sort of in the desert and jungle, where we discover and maybe even wonder about these creatures we start hearing. And then the third movement, well, we're in a dystopian, post-apocalyptic New York, and then some planets and the like. And at the end of each movement, I do cue up some live audio processing for us to kind of hum or sing along with whatever chanting we might be hearing. Okay? So that's the premise of this as a composition. And so if I go here and just say to start it, you'll see that my composition has started. StrongBear has built a system that lets us put in title cards and credits and all of that. And now we've begun Forest Dreams, Movement 1. Now, typically, I start this movement by bringing a sound and making this sizzle sound and handing that off to a player.
So we have 4 people. We have another one joining us, and Emery.
So, Evelyn, are you here?
Yes, I think I'm the light green one.
Cool.
Welcome. So hopefully you've been listening to the story of the piece. And so our idea now as musicians, as we're rehearsing, we want to listen to each other. We want to put some space in between the sounds. We don't want to get so busy. We don't always want to be playing. You're going to watch how I've structured the composition so that some of the threads, the sound, the wind will carry from section to section as a new scene comes up or as a new set of sounds come up. So we moved into the clouds.
And Emery and Evelyn is like in a pretty close space, so maybe you could scoot over to kind of make space for each other. That would be better.
Yes, so what you need to do is, what were you suggesting, StrongBear?
So because I was seeing like Emery and Evelyn was like kind of in the same spot, like, so maybe like make some space so that you don't bump into each other.
Try to stand up or move around a little so that you can kind of give yourself some room and your objects aren't bumping into each other. Very good. Now you know how to grab an object, how to point at it and make it come to you. All right? You know how to make an object louder by increasing its size or softer. I'm making this ocean breathe a little bit. You hear that? That's me kind of playing with the ocean. Now, do you notice when you see an object with these little pills around it? That's a palette. And so if you point at the orb with a laser beam and push A and B, it selects the next object in the palette. The palette sounds all relate to each other. Okay? Now, right? So you should not be creating any objects of your own. You should not be using X and Y. You should only be using the objects that I kind of put into the movements. Now that we've gone to black, it's almost like movement 1 is ending. So don't be hitting anything. Because now movement 2 is starting. I'll be quiet. Looks like a lot of objects. Shouldn't have. There you go. Thank you. That's Emery. Try to pull the object to you, Emery. Good. Strongbear, are you here?
Yes.
Somehow a bunch of objects have appeared and they won't go away.
Right. And I have no control over those, so when I point at
No, I
them,
know. I can't delete them either, but it's okay.
as long as it doesn't make any sound.
Yeah. But it's getting crowded.
Yeah.
These objects are all attacking me. Uh-oh. I think it crashed.
Everyone just crashed.
Oh, what happened?
I think it crashed.
Yeah, I definitely crashed. That's so funny.
It's not funny. It's my piece. You ruined it. It's crashed.
I could tell my headset was struggling there at the end.
Yeah. Well, I think it wasn't deleting the objects. Here's what we're going to do. What I want to do is I'm going to show you all that I can queue up. Let's see if I can. Okay. I'm going to launch CsoundMeta again. You should all join. And then I'm hoping everyone who's watching this is enjoying the rehearsal. Now, I'm going to be the host again. Okay. So you can all join me. Let's spread out a little bit. And I'm just waiting here for you to join. Let's make a little room for each other.
And are we all use 9.8.0?
Are you all using the right version of the program?
I updated.
Cool. Yeah. Great.
Good.
Let me double check.
Okay, I'm here. I'm in this rust color.
Okay. I think I'm at right at your position. Let me
Who is
move.
red? Yeah, you're in my position. I'll try to move
around.
Okay, I can't move too far because I'm connected with a cable, right? So I'm going to count on
purple.
Purple, good. I'm counting on all of you to space yourself out a little bit. Strongbear, can you move a little?
Yeah.
Or not? There you go. Okay, good. Well, okay, we all got a good spot. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Relax, point our sticks down because we're not playing. There you go. Now, I'm going to bring up the menu and I'm going to tell it to show me the timeline. So here's how you compose, everyone, on a timeline like this. I'm going to zoom it up because people are looking, hopefully watching. And we have a row here for movements. We have a row here for graphics. And then we have a row here for text and the like. Okay. And then we can rewind, fast forward, delete things, etc. But if I now open up my composition, Vienna BTOT, right, and start it, and now I tell it, show me the timeline, I can say, I'd like to jump to the beginning of movement 2. Do you see it right here? I could say, let's start here, movement 2, Desert Dreams. And so I could now hide the timeline, and we're going to take it from movement 2, ready to continue our rehearsal. So here's the beginning of movement 2. Now remember, when you have a palette in front of you, I don't want you creating any sounds, so don't push X and Y. But if there's a palette, you can absolutely push A and B to choose a different sound in the palette and play that, right? So all of these palettes are presets that I've created that relate to that org and that fit the musical context that I'm trying to create. So even now I could pick this and its low theme, retrig, right? And I can play that, right? Right? Okay, good. Here come the new sounds. And we're in a new environment. I'm looking around. I'm seeing I'm kind of in a cave. There's some water around me. That object does not belong in this movement. I didn't fix all of them, I guess. And now we're here in the desert. There's this maze. Good. And here's the creature down in this pit. Sounds like he's munching on something.
Yeah, down that black hole.
Now, do remember that if you point at an object and connect the patch cord to the object, and you do that by pushing, both triggers, right, at when you point at an object, then, I can't talk. Beginning of the third movement. So this movement's a lot more rhythmical, a lot more groovy or drummy. Now, don't hit anything yet. Let the beat establish itself. And then you can expand the volume of the beat and you can strike it, create a kind of polyrhythm. And you can also collect alternate drum patterns. Gotta strike it to hear it. There we go. Now, when an object looks like a diamond like this, you can only trigger it. It's a full composition, so you can't really control it. You can get it to kind of restart from the beginning. You can spatialize it. But the objects that give you the most control are the round orbs. So now we're near the end of the piece. And I've got a nice little pitch transposing, little title card. Bethany's not with us from Hong Kong today, but she was. I need to change the title card. So it kind of ends out this way, then it goes to a pass-through where we would throw the objects out to the audience. You'll see it in a second. Should go to pass-through at this point. Where's the pass-through? Maybe not. There it is. And so now we just have these objects that we normally just bring out to the audience and, you know, just as a kind of coda. And you notice all the objects that appeared, right? So, and we just throw these all out at the audience. Now to turn an object into a throwable object, you hold down the X button, and the X button turns it into a wanderer, right? The Y button, I mean, turns it into a wanderer, and then you can just grab it and throw it. Grab it, grab it. So this is just a way of kind of throwing these out to the audience at the end. Virtual rock concert mode, right? Beach ball mode. Right? Okay. And we now have a stop function that we created this morning that just gets us out of the movement completely, out of the piece completely. Okay, so I hope that was okay for all of you to think about a little or rehearse a little of what's going on in the piece, huh? Let me take off my headset. Let's see if there are any questions, thoughts, suggestions from Emery and Evelyn. And I thought the things that you were both doing were very nice. I'm going to get out of sharing, boop, and go back. Hello, Evelyn. So, good. Now, what we're working on is a way of, right now we can create orbs that overlap and we can layer sounds, but we're also working on something that causes the orbs to all scatter, like all just fly off, but we also are working on something that freezes them. So while they're flying, or they go into like heavy gravity mode or molasses mode, where they kind of slowly keep moving, but where you can more easily catch them or whatever. Why they go flying off right now is when you tell objects to come back to you, if they bump into each other, and especially if it's a pallet with all the pills around it, then they tend to bump into each other and send each other all kind of flying off in every direction. The way that Strongbear and I catch them or capture them many times is I push on my controllers both the X and the A button. So if you push X and A at the same time, what X and A does is make the objects come back to you. So while they're coming back, you can kind of point at them and freeze them and catch them there and put them where you want them so that they're not all flying all over the place. And so I find that X and A really help me kind of get things back, especially when I'm jamming with a lot of students and things like that. So, but Strongbear is working on a version now where we have a little more control of that. Already the new feature of layering objects together is pretty great, that the objects can be stacked. But so, do any of you have any thoughts or suggestions or ideas? Questions?
I was just thinking about with the I mentioned this in the Discord about if we were gonna do any type of like live processing in like a
Yes.
multiple person setting, it might make sense to give the option to solo objects, just so if I was say like playing trumpet, I could solo like maybe like a shimmer reverb or something, and send the output of my headset to the same mixer that like the master headset is connected to. So you could take the output of like if anyone is doing any type of live effect processing that they want to contribute to like the whole mix.
To the mix, yeah.
Especially just for in person, because it seems like everyone would be kind of like, you'd be able to hear if you have your objects soloed, but there's a master headset that is connected to huge speakers, you'll still be able to hear what's going on in person if you just on your headset solo your own effect processing.
Good. I don't know if I'm following. I don't know if I'm following your ideas perfectly, but
Yeah.
I love your idea. Now, what you're maybe suggesting to us, strongbear, if I could almost simplify it, but think of it this way, Emery. Maybe there isn't like solo my effect or whatever, but there's send, that you could say send to master or send to host, send to host. And so there's a button or whatever, or some option that would allow at least that from our effects collection to go to the host. It might be some latency or some delay, but that would allow it to kind of contribute to the mix by default or something. You know what I mean? So whatever, if I'm singing or strongbear is singing, he could push the send to host button, and then at least his singing would be routed through. Might not be all of his effects, might not be all of his instruments, but that one effect could. So I'm just thinking about computational time, latency, and things like that, Emery. And so, yeah, the dream would be that our systems and our networks are fast enough to just automatically do it, or that we would share audio.
I thought the issue though is that you can't really send audio from one to the other. So then the thing I was thinking of for at least like for live in-person performance is that you could just mix the audio of like multiple headsets, like just kind of in the mixer, like the way you would with acoustic instruments, just because it seems like from what I understand, it's like not really possible to send audio from one headset to another like that.
Well, we're working on it because it is possible to talk from headset to headset.
Okay.
And it is possible to, so it's not, but there are issues associated with it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, strongbear?
Yeah, so ideally we want a setup that's so simple. I mean, like, so we don't need an external mixer to do it. That's the ideal situation. And I love the idea of being able to solo, not only for the purpose of like playing your own and then send to the mix, but also like for people like for example in like in a jam when we have like 10 people and then you don't know which sound are you playing, like especially for a new player, they don't know like what sound they're playing, so but be able to like solo their own sound and then listen to it. Oh wow, that's the sound that I'm making. And
good idea, great idea, strongbear. Even thank you, Emery. Forget effects now. Stop being a trumpet player wanting to play in the MetaQuest. But, which by the way, Emery was doing in his recital at Berkeley just 2 nights ago or whatever. It was fantastic. So already meta processing, live meta audio processing has been revealed to the universe. in Emery's 491 senior recital at Berkeley that was fantastic. He had a dozen musicians jamming with him, and most of the night Emery was playing with the Quest 3S on and singing with it on, and so it was pretty cool. And congratulations, it was a great show. But what Strongbear is picking up on now that I'm loving the thought of is, yeah, Strongbear, what a good idea. Just like you said, we've had so many beginners. You know, Strongbear and I know all the sounds pretty well. We are surprised by some of them because when you change those controls, it's like, wow, I didn't know that instrument could make that sound. So we're still surprised. But we know if we pick teal or rust or green, you know, we kind of know the world of sound that synthesizer makes. It's not a patch. It's a full synthesizer, and we kind of know, okay, that's a FM with a little granular with a random sampling hold on the filter, and we kind of know the instruments now. And Strongbear's been playing these for a year, right? And I've been playing them for 40 years. So I know the sounds. I'm thrilled when I'm surprised. But with any new user, because we've done a little bit of jamming at the International Csound Conference. We did some jamming at Berkeley with high school kids. I've done jamming with my own students, and they're all geniuses and whatever. And they're still like, is that me? You know, or I've even brought my boss in. I've had the chairman of different departments and colleagues from different departments. And, you know, they're all wondering, is that the sound I'm making? And so I love the idea, Strongbear, of either making your sound that you're hitting always a little louder in the in your headset. So having a loudness button that always makes you, at least in your headset, louder. But the other thing would be, as you're saying, some kind of a solo thing. Whereas if you hold this combination, you just hear the one thing you're hitting. You know, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Now,
and just to
yes.
So like last time I sent you an email because I also let my friends try who are like really non-musician, and I want to talk directly to Strongbear. So is there a tutorial version just for them to start with? It's like for them listening to the thing and looking at the thing, and they just like suddenly feel dizzy and has nowhere to go.
yeah.
We have like a tutorial thing, like just like drum key, like a really simple name for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like to make the app complete and then publish to the to the public, and then we need to make tutorials just like that, and maybe like a start movement. I mean, like a beginning movement, like introduction movement.
Start screen, start sound. Yep.
And ideally, like pull all the tutorial that I made on YouTube and on my website, somehow put it in the headset so that they could watch and practice.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Evelyn. I'm glad you're making that point. And Strongbear has made some really great tutorials for a very early version of this, a nice set of demos. But they're not in the headset. There's not a like getting started or quick start. I did start creating startup sounds or startup things which combine a voice effect, a simple instrument that plays melodies, a little bit of a drum machine, a little bit of a kind of chord generative chord thing. So I did try, because of your suggestion from a few weeks ago, creating kind of startup things. But that doesn't mean that's the first thing you see. That doesn't mean it's the first thing you notice in the list. You just see everything. You pick one, or you just push some buttons. Oh, it's a mess. You don't know what's happening. So you're right. We need to think about, before delivering this to consumers or just expecting children or anyone to be able to play with it. Yeah, there's a little more work we need to do to, make sure that it opens up and it's more intuitive.
Yeah. So like
I will compliment Strongbear by saying that Strongbear's set of demos that were originally done for the earliest version of this were really fantastic because they're nice and short. They're like a minute long or whatever. The Strongbear focuses on one thing. Let me show you how to do that. Boom, and there it is. Let me show you how to do this. Boom. And so I found them, Strongbear knows how to make a nice set of stepped demo tutorials, which I was very inspired by, but it's very important. I agree. And so when your friends were freaking out, now, were you screencasting for them on your TV when you were playing so you could teach them?
Like some of them are really good at it, actually. Some of them are really bad at it. Like no matter how.
Right.
wow.
I did the casting. I did a casting on a screen.
Good. That can help. And knowing that casting is pretty easy is a nice way of, because I've made that mistake. I've made this mistake. It might not be your mistake. But of course I have my sons who are brilliant programmers and and my daughter-in-law and that Google and Microsoft, and I put it on them and they were terrible. But they might even be watching today. But they were like lost. Like what? And I'm like, well, I'm just thinking you would just know, and you really don't. And so it doesn't matter in some ways if you're an expert or not. And I remember and I'm really not good at computer games, and I don't play them much because if you don't know how to use the controls, I remember my son Adrian years ago handing me Halo or something. Okay, try. I couldn't even walk the soldier out of the spaceship. You know what I mean? I got nowhere. It was like, oh, okay, well, you play, I'll watch. Because I was like hopeless with the controller. So there's a lot that really needs to be kind of thought and explained and kind of stepped through for people to get it. That my dream is, and this is for you and for everyone, but I'm imagining this ultimately as a new kind of book or workspace, or I don't know what we'll call it. We'll come up with a better name for the way you learn by doing, by creating, by composing, by improvising. And so my goal ultimately with CsoundMeta is to create like 6 compositions of different styles, some that are groovy, some that are tonal, some that are noisy, some that are sound mass and soundscape, concrete, etc. And then having the piece that you could just listen to, having the piece that you could play along with, a little bit like we just did now, having it that you could save your own versions and upload them and share them and even kind of compete in competitions to make the best remix or reversion of that piece. And so I'm thinking this might be my way of making a composition book that isn't a book, but it's an experience and just learning in a way how to tell cinema, create cinema with the ear, or what I'm calling sound cinema or sound stories or soundscapes. And so I'm hoping with Strongbear's help that together we'll really create this new way of learning or teaching or creating. And so you bet I have a lot of work ahead of me to kind of make sure I know, I can help someone through the process. But I want to teach them how to compose along the way. That's my hope.
Yeah. Right. So like if you have 2 headsets and you'll be able to do multiplayer, you could become a host and then explain it to your friends. That's I think it's the best way to get like a hands-on experience.
Right. And it's why I keep buying so many extra headsets so I can just put them on people and doing that. Now, it is about 5 of 2, Emery, so I'm not sure we're going to get to do a jam with you playing, but I'd love you to show people you playing with your trumpet into some of the effects. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Like share your audio and play trumpet.
I have it set up. Let me know. Can y'all hear this directly?
Yes.
Yes, and also the sound sax.
Okay, Emily, before you get too far, I want you to explain your setup.
Yeah.
So we do hear it. So explain what you're doing now. But I'm going to prelude it by saying, you know, when I showed everyone that list of instruments.
Yeah.
Well, in that third line in there is where we have a list of sound effects instruments that I've designed. So take it from there, boss.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as like a player or whatever, that there's like trumpet wise, like you're kind of, if you're like hip, you're supposed to have like a pedal board or whatever. And so I feel like as a trumpet player, I was never like big into like the trumpet pedal board, but I can definitely, like, right now I just kind of opened it up and I'm like, okay, I'll put two shimmer verb orbs on the left and right, so there's like a stereo shimmer reverb, and then this like spectral freeze in the middle and like a flanger in the middle. And it's cool because it doesn't just have to go in like a straight line, like you can like modularly control your effect processing. I mean, I feel like that's like one of the easiest, like, I feel like it's like one of the easiest ways to get like some of the coolest effect processing sounds that I've used for like trumpet like already, which is super fun. But not to mention, like, I haven't chained any of them together yet or anything, but
Wow.
I'm working on like a movement right now of just playing with some of the Brahms stuff and just like kind of jamming with that on trumpet is just super
Now,
fun.
I see there's a cable plugged into the side of your headset. So explain that, and then I'll let you jam us out in this segment for 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I just have it connected to my Scarlett 2i2 right now, and I think I'm gonna try to find like a really small interface that will just get me like one input and a stereo output. So it's connected to the Scarlett 2i2, and then ironically that interface is connected to a second audio interface, which is going into my computer, which is like it's always funny when you're going like digital to analog back to digital, because your digital things can't interface with each other, but if it works, it works. And so it's just
And now your trumpet is playing into a pickup on the trumpet that you were telling me about.
Yeah, so there's this mute called the Yamaha silent brass like mute, which it's meant for just practicing, and it pushes your intonation really far out of tune, but that's going into a preamp thing, which has an 1/8 inch output. And so it's going like 1/8 inch into the preamp, which is going into the audio interface. And then the Quest is just, and like CsoundMeta and everything is just automatically selecting the audio interface for its input and its output, which I honestly think is, because you were mentioning it as a flaw, but I honestly see that as a strength too, because it's just like it reminds me of just like Rainbow or systems where your input interface just has to be the same as your output interface. But so it's just going like into the Scarlett and it's processing it in the headset, and it's just outputting it straight back out of the Scarlett automatically. And so then you can do with that what you will. Just
Okay, so play a little for us.
cool. Yeah, so it should be pretty stereo. I'm not hearing it as stereo, but at least in the recording or something, just shimmer reverb flanger kind of stuff. But yeah, it's got like yeah, I mean,
Beautiful.
I'm really excited to explore
Fantastic.
this more.
Well, that kind of ends a little bit of our session, I think, for today.
Cool.
What do you think, Strong Bear? Maybe we thank Evelyn, we thank Emery for being part of the training and rehearsing with us. I thank Emery for pushing the effects and your trumpet into there. As a side note, I'm premiering 2 major new works in Poland in November, and they both involve live string quartet and live recorder into the quest. So I'm trying to figure all this out, and I think you're getting there for me, Emery, so I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, you too. I'm definitely down to talk. I feel like there's a lot of like kind of philosophical, almost like ways to approach that kind of thing, which is interesting.
Great. Well, we're going to have time to do some of that, and I want to thank you for being here today. Strong Bear, have you got anything that you want to say to anyone who's watching? Or
Yeah, it was wonderful, like hearing Emery playing, and I think you could make tutorials out that so people like how you set it up and yeah, how do you play. And I was thinking about like your like mixing things. Maybe you could spin it up like a different host, so like 2 hosts could be play like 2 different set of sounds, and then you could use a mixer like a traditional way to achieve that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff to think about of like what is the headset best at doing, and then what is like a mixer best at doing, or what is the human best for doing. So it's kind of like not making something do something it's not the best at doing kind of thing. I don't even know.
Yep.
That's fun stuff to figure out. I feel like it's some uncharted territory for sure. That's
Fantastic.
Fun. Thanks for having
Well,
me.
thank you,
Super
Emery.
fun.
I want to thank everyone for watching today and for joining us. We'll probably have another session next, maybe Friday. We'll let you know soon. And we'll definitely be rehearsing. We'll be joined by a couple of other students and alums. So our ensemble will get a little bigger. Our system will get a little more stable. We'll definitely be able to save presets by next week. And maybe we'll even have some of these features, which are this idea that this idea of soloing or muting, or how to really share these effects. And I know that Strongbear has been doing live sessions because he's now getting it so that you can save effect presets. So you can chain things together or arrange them in parallel or series and save that as part of a movement. And so we're getting there to where our effects design will also be sequentially adapted to, conform with the flow and the form of the piece. So I'm looking forward to that. I think all of you can look forward to that very soon. Strongbear is very close.
Yeah, cool. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Yeah. As Dr.B said, I hope that we'll have like bigger and bigger ensemble. Yeah.
And we definitely want you all to join our Discord, so please do. And take care, everyone. And we'll look forward to seeing you again in Csound, with Csound and the Metaverse, maybe next week. Hopefully it'll be Friday, then same bat time, same bat station.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. See y'all later.
Thank you.
All right, take care everyone.